Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Deadly Nutter Butter Podcast. I am your host, Deadly Nutter Butter, but you can call me John, but Deadly Nutter Butter is my Twitch stream name. You can check me out live right now, throwing that in early. So welcome to the podcast. I hope you're all doing wonderful. And this podcast is basically me talking about my interests, things I like. Could be entertainment, could be video games, could be movies, TV shows, technology, or just anything in general. I feel like in streaming, I feel like I want to talk about things, but in the midst of a month, whatever, when I'm playing the game, I can't focus on actual full coherent thoughts. And then, here, I'm not playing a game. It's just me straight talking, saying what I want to say. It's good stuff, I think, personally. I mean, am I going to say it's bad? No, it is the best podcast you'll ever hear in your entire life. So okay, let me start off with a warning here. If you have not seen Rise of the Skywalker, Mandalorian, or The Witcher, please leave, because I'm going to talk a little about those shows and movie, because there's some interesting information that came out with Rise of Skywalker. So anyways, if you haven't seen any of those three that I named off, please close this podcast down. You won't hurt my feelings, but you will hurt them if you don't come back and listen to this. So, go ahead and just close it down, and I will start talking. So last week, January 2nd, this started trending on Twitter. Release the JJ cut. And I did some research into this and just pulled up some sources here so I can read them out loud to you guys. And I guess this, what was the Twitter handle name? Kenobi Stan. Great. Kenobi Stan had a source of what was going on in the original cut, in JJ's original cut. And it was 4 images, so I'm going to read them off to you. The Kylo Ray scene where he dies was at least 4 minutes longer with more dialogue. Ben was always supposed to die. Source also added that if he wasn't, then that might have been an earlier draft which they haven't read. The first draft they read included Lando. The first few didn't. The Reylo kiss and Ben's death was not part of the reshoots. It was a part of the re-editing. Even the cut that JJ thought was coming out earlier this month had a longer version of that scene than what was shown in the theatrical cut. JJ was against the Reylo kiss, or Reylo in general. This was Disney's attempt to please both sides of the fandom. Good job, Disney. You really fucked that up, didn't you? The second image we got going on here is quotes, I guess. The source asked about Finn Poe after seeing Oscar Isaac's comment about how Disney didn't want it to be a thing. This is true. JJ fought to make this happen. This is why Oscar is blaming Disney. It's not just a random throwaway comment. He knows for a fact that it was Disney because these discussions happened. The main cast is insanely close to JJ, and they are just as pissed, though seemingly more outspoken about it than JJ. During The Force Awakens, during The Force Awakens, Disney was hesitant to hire John Boga because a woman was front and center, so they deemed it that risky enough to bring... Sorry, let me back up here. I'm bad at this. Disney was hesitant to hire John Boga because a woman was front and center, so they deemed that risky enough, so bringing in a male lead who's black made them nervous. JJ fought to make that happen for about 9 months before getting approval. The same issue came up when JJ fought to have Finn and Poe in The Rise of Skywalker, but he lost that battle as he lost many creative battles for this film. Many people, including JJ, let's see if it continues here. Nope, that's it. That's weird. Ending quote. The ending that will blow your mind was part of this older. Oh, okay. This is weird layout. These sources are laid out here, or quotes or whatever. Quotes here for another image. The ending that will blow your mind was part of this. Older actors were included like Hayden, Ewan, and Samuel, and anyone who wasn't animated. The Force ghosts weren't meant to be voices because they shot that footage on camera. The actors were in costumes. Rey was supposed to be surrounded by the Force Ghost to serve as sort of a barrier between her and the Sith surrounding them. End quote. First time I did that. And last image, JJ's cut still exists and will always exist. We most likely will never see it unless someone accidentally leaks it. Bullshit. No one's going to accidentally fucking leak this shit. Okay, so this right here really, I wouldn't say confirms what I said in my last podcast, but really it shows that this movie should have been longer. Like most of the scenes in this movie should have been stretched out more, because like, as I said, like the biggest gripe I have with this film, all right, one of the biggest gripes, let me back up. One of the biggest gripes I have with this film is that it leaves no breathing room at all. There's none. And from what I'm getting from this sources is that there's probably like a 3+ hour cut out there. And I believe the original, or the cut that that was released to the theaters was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. So we're looking at maybe 20 extra minutes of footage here. Maybe. I again, this is just like one source saying things. I mean, this is not confirmed. Disney has not said, yeah, we cut down the original director's cut. There's nothing like this. There's nothing being confirmed. No, Disney's not going to admit the critics scored. The critics were. Disney is not going to admit that the reason why the critics were harsh on this film is because of them. They're not going to come out and say that. They're going to let JJ take all the heat. Disney's not stupid. Oh, well, actually they are. But yeah, so, and damn, I mean, this ending, the ending that would blow our mind, that is what I believe would probably make more fans like this film, like myself. I was waiting for Hayden. I was waiting for Hayden. I was waiting for my boy. Like, come on. But Disney has been very, very adamant at ignoring the prequels and anything to do with the prequels. That was like the first instance that this new trilogy kind of showed that the prequels exist. And there was a moment in The Last Jedi, but that was, I mean, the prequels existed. Like, that was the foundation for everything that happened up until this point in Rise of Skywalker. And they just kind of ignored it and were like, hey, look at the original trilogy. You like Luke Skywalker? Here's Luke Skywalker. You like Palpatine? Here's Palpatine. Even though Palpatine was part of the prequels, but this Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker was definitely Palpatine, like Emperor in the original trilogy. So, yeah. And damn, I said it. I said it in that last podcast that Hayden should have been on that, the remnants or the Death Star, all that wreckage when when Kylo was having a moment. It should have been Hayden and not Han Solo, or should have been Darth Vader, not Han Solo. And I know I said that Carrie Fisher was probably written for that scene, and I still stand by that, but it would have made more sense for, Darth Vader to show up to, tell Kylo and teach him a little bit about forgiveness than Han Solo. Because like Han Solo, he didn't really go through like a whole forgiveness phase. He had an evil start in New Hope. He was a scoundrel, a smuggler, rebel, everything, just like pretty much bad. I don't want to say bad guy, but you know, not the type of person you probably want to take home Thanksgiving. But you know, he had a nice redemption arc and all this and that, but he wasn't the core figure that should have been teaching Kylo about redemption and forgiveness. It should have been either Leia or Darth Vader, and we didn't get that. And this source is kind of showing that, yeah, JJ was on the right path by thinking and doing it this way. He was on the right path. I think he's getting a lot of hate, and a lot of hate for the creative choices he made in this film, some of which is definitely deserved. But if this source is true, he probably did his best with what he had, especially with Disney underneath his, or Disney's thumb on his head. Because let's be honest, Disney's going to wreck him. Disney would wreck anybody's career if we tried to fight it. And I guess even like the Reylo kiss, it was not part of the reshoots. Okay. It was part of the re-editing. So I don't know what the fuck that means. It wasn't part of the reshoot. So I imagine they made it shorter and quicker, and they didn't show the romance. Oh, that's what it probably means. they probably took out any of the I guess the romance or non-romance of it and left it up to the viewer to decide if it was a romantic loving kiss or something else. And, you know, I don't know what it could be. Like a friend kiss, is that a thing? I don't know. But it just goes to show that Disney, they're sitting on a fence on this one, and it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Take a stance. They could have made the Reylo thing a thing, or the romance a thing, but they didn't. Instead, they kind of just left it up to the viewer to decide whether or not it is a romance and not just two enemies. I don't know what else it could be, honestly. I mean, that kiss is pretty evident that it was supposed to be a romance, but then he dies very quickly. So it was like really unconfirmed. There was no like, I love you, Rey. And there was no, I love you, Ben. There was nothing like that. It was just death, just absolute death. And man, it really grinds my gears. I'm not going to lie. Like, cause I walked out of the theater and I know I'm going back to Rise. Obviously I'm back in the Rise of Skywalker, but like walked out of the theater feeling like I was shown only part of what I was supposed to see. And this kind of really shows it. And I guess there was a thing with Poe and Isaac. Yeah, with Finn and Poe. Yeah, I guess Disney hates gays. I mean, it's weird. Like, it's really weird, but they showed the two lesbians kissing that. I'm like, it's almost, it's like the lowest effort given possible to please all sides and to show all diversity. It's like the lowest attempt to show everything and lowest effort. It's, I want to say lazy. It's just, no, actually it is lazy. It is lazy. Yeah. It is lazy. It's lazy wokeness, I guess, is a good way to put it. And like, if you want to show all sides, show all sides. Don't like be lazy about it. Cause I feel like even though you're representing underrepresented areas or whatever, it just like, why would you do it half-assed? I feel like, like it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. I can't speak for those people. I can't speak for them. I'm just a lonely little Mexican boy in an apartment, and I don't know. Like, I feel like if they're underrepresented and they do it lazy, I would be pissed if I was one of those groups being represented and they did this. I would be a little pissed because it's just lazy. It's just lazy, man. Like, what the fuck is that? And I guess, yeah. Oh yeah. Back to this, JJ. Oh, what'd it say? Hang on a second. JJ fought Finn and Poe, but lost, obviously. So it sounds like Disney just, I wouldn't say threw in the towel on it, but was definitely wanted all creative control. And it's weird. Like, why hire someone like J.J. Abrams? And no, I know people are he's not very well loved in the community of reboots because he relies heavily on nostalgia. But I saw Star Trek when it first came out and I loved that shit. Now, full, I guess, disclosure, I wasn't not a huge fan of Star Trek. I didn't really watch the show. I wasn't into the fandom as a lot of people were. So it was a good action movie for me and I really enjoyed it. And when The Force Awakens was announced and he was doing the movie, I was excited. I was like, hell yeah, we got a guy who knows we got a guy who's a fucking nerd and he knows his shit, I guess. And he'll make it look great. It'll feel great. It'll be amazing. And I was hyped for it. And then it came out and I was like, okay, it's good. It's good. You know, we relied heavily on nostalgia and things we've already seen, but whatever, it'll get better. And boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. But yeah. And then this whole, yeah, I was wrong. And then the release, the JJ cut started trending on Twitter. And you know what? It's never going to happen. Disney is never going to release that. And I know people were pointing to the Snyder cut of Justice League, and we're lucky we're getting that. We are lucky. But let's be honest here. Warner Brothers is coming out with their own streaming app. they're only going to release that Snyder Cut on that streaming app to get people to go subscribe to that. And that is just awful. That is just awful. I wouldn't say I hate streaming services, but because they definitely free up a lot of people from overpaying for TV they're not really using a whole lot. So yeah, but the idea now that you have to pay for the privilege to see a movie is ridiculous. And that's a whole nother thing later. I'm gonna move on now to something else related very heavily to Star Wars, and that's The Mandalorian. We finally got a good Star Wars. Oh my God. Star Wars. What? Disney, sweetheart, baby, what are you doing? Like, you don't have, like, you still have Marvel, obviously, but let's be honest. I don't feel the hype for Black Widow. So Star Wars is your best bet right now to make a bunch of more money. And you throw out, right? Anyways, Mandalorian, great show. Great show. It was a nice turn from Save the Galaxy. It was great to finally drift away from that a little bit here. And we drifted far away. We just basically follow a guy and his kid run around the galaxy killing shit. That is all The Mandalorian is, and it's great. It is awesome. However, that ending really, I guess, perked people's interests because, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about the dark saber or whatever it's called. I didn't know anything about it. So I looked it up, and it is basically, well, it was wielded by the first Mandalorian who could use the Force. So there were definitely, we got Baby Yoda being in the Mandalorian, we got Baby Yoda who's going to be a Mandalorian and also use the Force. So that's what it's alluding to. And it should be like, hopefully season 2 picks up a little bit better here because let's be honest, you basically have to watch episode 2, I don't know why I start off on 2. You have to watch episode 1, 2, maybe 4, maybe another one here and there, but basically, and then the last 2 out of this whole thing. Like, I think it's within 8 or 10 episodes. Anyways, there's some episodes that are just kind of filler. They don't really advance the story any farther. They're just kind of showing more of the world that Mando lives in. And, you know, it's still, I mean, it was definitely better. And it was definitely better than having another story of having to save the galaxy. It was definitely better than that. It was small. It was condensed. It was contained. And it made the show and made Star Wars a little bit more enjoyable than what I have been enjoying it. And it was nice. Yeah, that's just how I'll leave that. Mandalorian, it was nice. It was nice. And yeah. And another show that I finished recently was The Witcher. Let me tell you about this show. It was also nice. Surprise there. No, but seriously, it was a fun show. Like, there was a lot of episodes. Like, I was really interested in episode 1, and when episode 2 rolled around, like, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking dragging. What the fuck? And I was worried. And then it starts to pick up again. But if you're a new viewer for it, I feel like they're not explaining much in the beginning of like the world that they're in. Like, there's nothing explaining what a Witcher does or what he is or anything. He just kind of does shit and kills the monsters. That's all you really know. You don't know anything about the war a whole lot. You're just kind of thrown into stuff, and I don't think it gives enough time to explain what's going on. And like, it's a weird thing to say because like, you don't want to be so heavy on the I forget the term, but heavy on the backstory of things. You don't want some character explaining everything to the main character. You don't want that because the main character is probably going to know. He's been in the world for a couple hundred years, probably. I don't remember how long Witchers last or how old he is, but you don't want that because that would also bog down the story. So they just kind of keep advancing very quickly without really explaining what's going on. It's still a good show. That's, to be honest, but there is a lack of, I don't want to say storytelling, but explaining what world we're in here. But it's still fun. Like, that's all I have to say about it, really. Like, it's not necessarily the greatest show that's ever come out, and it's not top tier Game of Thrones season 1 through 6. It's nothing like that at all. But it's still a fun show, and it's. I feel like people like Obviously, I did a whole review on Game of Thrones, so I won't get into that. But people who hated the 8th season of Game of Thrones had a void in them. I had a void in myself. I'll be honest. And I was like, I need some other fantasy stuff. I tried watching Lord of the Rings, and that didn't quite get there for me. It was still good show. I mean, not good show, good movies and everything, but it just didn't hit the way I needed it to. I want some violence, and I want some tits, and I want some sex. I can't get that in Lord of the Rings. Not in the movies. Fan fiction, yeah, but not in the movies. The Witcher cured all of that. And it was good. Like, oh God, I can't say his name. The guy who plays Superman, Henry. Is that his name? Henry? I should probably know that. Anyways, he does a great job in this show. Like, he does and it's weird because he's like a full-fledged A-list actor, basically, in a B-list TV show. Like, it's just kind of odd because you see the acting chops on him, and then you see this material he's working with, and it's just kind of like a weird blend. He doesn't fit quite. Like, he makes the character great. Like, he plays Geralt fantastically, but he just, the acting experience he has he's almost overqualified. That's the word I'm looking for. He is overqualified for this role. And in some of the shots that they had, it really looks like he's wearing a wig. But other shots, he just blends in really well. It's just like this weird contrasting thing that's happening in the show. And I don't know how to, obviously I don't know how to fix it, but I do hope they can fix it in the second season, because they're making a second season. It's a huge hit. It's a damn good show. I want to say, it's a damn good entertaining show. Let me finish that. It's a damn good entertaining show. If you like blood, if you like nudity, if you like hot women just sitting around naked, if you like banging, this is a good show. It's a good show. It's just a good show. It's fun. It's entertaining. I'm just rambling now, but yeah. Oh, and like Yennefer, I guess there is a controversy on her, not necessarily on the character, just the actress. I guess people are pissed that it's an Indian woman and not a white woman. I don't know why. I don't really care. Like, it's weird. It's dumb. It's just dumb. It's a fantasy show. We have a dude that kills people like easily and dismembers them easily. Like, come on now. And uses magic hands. Come on now. It's a fantasy show. Plus, she's kind of hot. I will say, however, I do think I'm missing the whatchamacallit, the sharp facial features of Yennefer. Because like Yennefer in the show, she definitely has soft features. Like I did play Witcher 3 Wild Hunt before even the show was announced, almost 2 years ago now, I want to say, Witcher 3. Anyways, and Yennefer in the game has very sharp facial features. She's like sharp chin, just very sharp, very striking looking. And Yennefer in a TV show is soft, more roundish facial features, but whatever. I mean, she embodies the character very well. She plays the character very well. She acts like she is Yennefer. And I think, I don't know if it's a negative or positive, but I feel like having her look softer makes her more dangerous, maybe, because like when you look at it, like sharp facial features and everything, you see danger maybe. But with her, it's like, oh, she's innocent and sweet, and then bam, she blows fire at your face and you're fucking dead, or stabbed in the back or whatever. But yeah, so if you haven't seen The Witcher, check it out. It's a good show. It's fun. It's entertaining. What else is there to say? There's blood, guts, sex, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, check it out if you have Netflix, of course, and check out The Mandalorian if you have Disney Plus. Or do what you do best, world, and just download the free trial for 6 days and binge watch it. Binge watch The Mandalorian. Just do that, because there's nothing else on Disney Plus right now, and they are removing shit. That is the next topic I'm getting into. They are actually not willingly removing things. There's something with licensing and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, I guess the movies that matter most that they lost is Home Alone and Home Alone 2, I believe it was, or maybe just one of those. Doesn't matter. But it really goes to show what I said previously. you're paying for a privilege to watch this shit. You don't own shit. You're paying a monthly fee just for the privilege to say you can watch something. Like that model is going to get old very, very quickly, especially since they're taking, like, okay, outside of Disney, you have NBC, ABC, CBS. Okay, whoa, not ABC. They're part of Disney Plus. They should be, at least. I don't really know. You have Disney Plus, you have Netflix, you have CBS, you have NBC, you have Warner Brothers, I guess, HBO. You have all these streaming services, and none of them, you don't own any of them. You don't. Like that is like I'll be honest, when Netflix first came out and was rolling through, I fucking foolishly thought that Netflix was the future of TV and movies. Just thought it was the future. Everyone would put their intellectual property on Netflix and you can stream it. I mean, worked for Spotify, right? Oh, but no. Everyone wants their own streaming service now, and it's so tiring. Like, why would I want to like subscribe to Netflix, Disney Plus, and CBS, Fox now? I think they're so fucking, I don't even know. And the whole thing is going to get very tiring. And I feel like the market of it, like the, I guess the business model or whatever, is going to be very unsustainable very soon. But at the same time, like, there's no distribution costs really. There's obviously a maintenance cost to keep the apps running and keep everything running smoothly and everything. But like, I'm afraid DVDs and Blu-rays and everything, they're going to fade. Like, they're just going to go away, and you're going to be stuck paying for shit. You're going to be stuck paying for the privilege to see stuff when you could have just went out and spent, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks or however much a new Blu-ray costs nowadays. I honestly don't know, because I have Netflix and I don't care. But yeah, so it's just, I feel like, how did the music industry adapt to Spotify so well? Because I can almost, there are a few occasions when I can't find a certain artist or a certain album on Spotify, but Spotify, for the most part, figured their shit out, and Spotify and the music industry figured their shit out and were able to come together, be friends, and now almost everybody can finally get their music on Spotify, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's all in one place. It makes sense. But now with movies, you have to have all sorts of streaming apps just to stream movies and TV shows that were originally on Netflix. I mean, Friends, for example, is coming off of Netflix in January. I don't remember exactly when. I'm pretty sure it comes off this month, and it's just gone. Like, you have to go subscribe to NBC's app now, and The Office and Parks and Rec are also going to be quickly taken off. Don't remember exactly when, but those will be gone too, sometime this year or 2021. I'm trying to remember, but I didn't write it down because I'm bad at this. But yeah, it's a weird it's not a weird concept. It's like a very old concept, but it's just weird and unfortunate and sad. Like, I wouldn't say it's like the only people who really lose here are the customers. Like, why not just leave it on Netflix? Like, I feel like there's a good chance that more people are going to watch your old shows on Netflix rather than going to your other app, your own app. Like, now I will probably, if I really want to watch The Office and watch it all, I will find the box collection on Amazon or something and buy it from there, because that's better than signing up for another streaming service just for the privilege of watching a show is that show 10 years old yet? I feel like it's about 10 years old. But yeah, no, you should not. I shouldn't say the customers should have a right to. No, that's stupid. But it's just, you had a good thing going with Netflix, boys. You had a good thing and you ruined it. I mean, obviously HBO, that was a great idea for HBO because they were a premium channel on a cable service with their own app. That made sense. But with a big company like NBC and Disney, that's a lot of intellectual property that's now just kind of being taken away from viewers. And speaking of streaming services, we're going to do a slight segue in relation to it. And that is Stadia. Oh, Stadia. You stupid bitch. Damn. Let's be honest here. Stadia definitely is probably the future of gaming. It probably is. Like, no doubt, it's going to go, games are going to go to the cloud. You're going to be able to stream them to your whatever device, and it's going to be no latency or very little latency, and you're going to be able to stream it at 1080 at 60 frames a second or 4K at 60 frames a second. But Stadia just ain't doing it. And the numbers really show, because yesterday, according to Forbes, Destiny 2 player count is 8,020. Now, in comparison to PC, which is the highest player count, PC is at glorious 400,094, and that's a problem for Destiny 2 players with Stadia, because like a big part of Destiny 2 is multiplayer. In order to do some of the bounties, you need to do strikes and Crucible and Gambit, and if you don't have players playing that shit, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a serious problem leveling and getting, equipment and gadgets and just weapons and armor and things you would like to have, because there's no one on your platform. And I feel like Stadia's dead. I feel like Stadia is a little dead. And it doesn't help that there is a cost, like a monthly cost. If you don't know, you probably do. But if you don't know, Stadia Pro is like the Pro edition, but you can get a base edition. You pay the $130 or whatever the cost is, and then your controller arrives, you set it up for playing games that you have to buy. And yeah, for the free version, the base version, you get resolution up to 1080, 60 frames a second, stereo sound. You can buy games wherever you want. You get no additional free games, and that's it. Wait, there's a weird thing here. Stadia Pro exclusive discounts on select game purchases? No. Okay, so you don't even get that either. So you just get the controller and the privilege to play on any device that you can play it on. Stadia Pro is $10 a month here. You get resolution up to 4K. Great. If, the game supports it. 60 frames a second. Doesn't say 4K anymore. That's nice. 5.1 surround sound. You don't get that with a base. Are you fucking kidding me right now, Google? Buy games whenever you want. Sure. Cool. Great. Additional free games release regularly. Yes. Starting with Destiny 2, the collection. Dope. And then you get exclusive discounts on select game purchases. Cool. But you have to pay $10 a month to get discounts. Well, what? Like, what? Stadia? What? Why would people want to play extra for the more like, okay, fine. We'll let you have that, I guess. But yeah, and again, this is another streaming service. This is another service that is relying on Google. Like, imagine it's the same concept. You don't have to imagine. You don't have to imagine here. Google can stop the service. Can stop Stadia service. Google can stop supporting certain games, and you're fucked on that. You're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. Imagine buying the base version, which comes out in 2020 this year, buying the base version and then buying Destiny 2 on it for whatever reason, because, why not? What games are on Stadia anyways? Because I feel like, why would you buy Destiny? Like, of all the games to buy, why would you? Destiny 2's been out forever now. Like, don't buy Destiny. Don't. It's free to play. Do not buy Destiny. That is a dumb idea. I just want to know. I'm trying to search up the game catalog right now because games. Here we go. All right. So far there is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Borderlands 3. That's not out yet. Destiny 2, and Metro Exodus, Red Dead Redemption 2, Tomb Raider. Okay, so there's quite a few games actually. Old games, some old, like Destiny 2. Elder Scrolls Online, what the fuck? But yeah, it's just Doom. Okay, buddy. Like, Borderlands 3 obviously would be a good buy, maybe, if you're playing. And then Cyberpunk obviously would be good, but it's just one of those things where it's like, if Google cancels the service, if Google like, okay, well, Stadia is not making us money, the player base isn't there anymore, they're going to cancel it. And then the players who are obviously the people who are playing on Stadia still, who bought these games, are left with their dick wagging in the wind. Like, they can't, like, there's no physical copy here. They're just screwed. And I hope, and like, this is Google we're talking about here, so let's be honest here. They're probably not going to do the most ethical and moral thing, but if they do cancel Stadia, if they did cancel Stadia, I highly doubt they're going to refund anybody money for the games that they bought. It's just money pissed in the wind, and that's I guess one of the biggest problems, and why I will probably never ever get a Stadia. And like I said in the beginning, I get it. Cloud gaming, it's the future, but it's not ready yet. Give it another couple years, we will probably be seeing better streaming, better streaming quality for video games to your console or whatever. But right now, it's just not the play. Like, it's just not. No. Like, I would like my, I guess Microsoft does this pretty well. I haven't used it yet because I don't have an Xbox, but you get the Xbox or Microsoft Game Pass, and you can play the same games that are on PC that are also on Xbox. So Halo Master Chief Collection, for example, you can play it on your PC and then you can play it on your Xbox, and the saves, like, yeah, there's cross save enabled. So you get that. And if Google was able to somehow cross save with my Steam library or Epic Games library, I would be more on board with it. Because if Stadia disappeared, which Google's known to kill things, so there is a good possibility here, at least my games would still be available to play on my computer. And I would lose $130 or $10 a month or however much I pay, but at least I would still have my games available to me. But if they cancel it and there's nothing to play your games on, then your games are just kind of gone. Like, I don't know how they would do that, honestly. Like, would they, if they did cancel it, if they did, which they probably won't, but they might, would they still let players play the games, but then not take on new customers and maybe not, I guess, update or do maintenance to just kind of let it slowly die a very painful and tragic death? I think that would be probably the best way to go, instead of just yanking the rug out from underneath people who are happy with this service. Like, there are people out there, and I'll be honest, like, if I was in a scenario where I was traveling a lot, like internationally or within the States, and I wanted to play a AAA game like Borderlands or Cyberpunk 2077, this is the best way to do it. This is the best way to do it. Forget about gaming laptop. Fuck that shit. Those are heavy. They heat up, and the battery life on it is not the play. And they're heavy. Like, they're not travel friendly. This Google Stadia, perfect for it. You just need a laptop, the browser, or a phone, or Google. I guess Google Pixel right now is the only phone that works for it, and you're good to go. And you can play Borderlands 3, or Cyberpunk, or Destiny 2. Like, the idea of it is very appetizing. It's very appetizing, and I like it. I mean, shit, I have a Switch, and I love that thing because of the portability on it. I could play amazing games either docked and on my kick-ass monitors or TV, or I can get up and go to the pooper and not have to browse my phone the whole time. Like, it's great. It's fantastic. It's amazing for that ability. Hell, I even went to go get my oil changed, and I'll bring my Switch with me while I'm in the waiting room. It's fantastic for that reason. And I definitely feel like Google should have marketed more towards that. I believe I'm a simpleton. Let's be honest here. I don't know what the fuck Google's thinking or how to think like a person who works in Google, but I get the feeling that more people would have been on board with Stadia if they would have marketed it for like the ultimate mobile experience. Like, forget about competing with computer right now. Forget about it. Computers are still top tier. Gaming consoles can hold against certain computer loadouts, but right now computers have the best equipment and hardware for the ultimate graphical gaming experience. But they're not mobile. Like gaming laptops, fuck that. They're heavy, as I said. They're chunky. They're a waste of money in my opinion. Nintendo Switch, you can portable. Yeah, that thing is fucking portable. Take it wherever. Play amazing games. Consoles, they're somewhat portable. You can take it to a friend's house, at least a little bit easier than a computer. But other than that, there's no real mobile console that can play AAA games, new AAA games out there. And Stadia could have marketed towards that. And it works great as that. Like I've seen photos of people playing in an airport. Like that's like playing on the phone in an airport, playing Destiny 2 on their phone in an airport. Like, come on. There's a market there for that. And if they would have calmed down themselves a little bit and not have went after, like, we're going to replace gaming computers side of things, I believe Stadia would have been a little bit more successful and it would have maintained its success now, because there is a want for it. I mean, why not? Like, you get it and you go to work or whatever, you can bring your Stadia with you and on lunch break play a game in the browser. I mean, that's kind of fucking cool. No, it's not kind of cool. That is fucking cool. All you need is a controller. There's definitely something about it that hopefully gets better. But right now, it's kind of not getting better. And so, like, obviously Destiny 2 is probably the exception in this. I mean, you have other games in here that are one player only. Oh my God, Ghost Recon Point Break. Oh, no. Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't even know if some of these games are out yet, so I could be talking off my rocker here, but there are definitely some games in here that are one player, single player driven, and Stadia could probably take advantage of that very well. But right now, it's just not really, in my opinion, not worth it. Not yet, at least. Obviously, there are plenty of people out there in the subreddit fan club Stadia who ignore all criticisms in their fucking glory. Like, they hate reviewers. Like, and like tech reviewers, they're going to review on the experience as they get it. That's the way they got it. And they did not like reviewers who got it and had a very piss poor experience with it, either with internet connection or whatever. But that's like the downside with Stadia, is if you don't have good internet, you're kind of fucked. But yeah. And also, Google kind of lied about 4K and 60 frames a second. That's not happening. But yeah. Oh, I went off on a little tangent there, didn't I? I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about today. We talked about J.J. Abrams and the release of J.J. Cut, Star Wars, Mandalorian, Witcher. Can't really think of anything else to really talk about. I know I missed last week's episode. It's because there wasn't much to talk about. I mean, I could have talked about Mandalorian. I could have talked a little bit more about Skywalker, but I guess like the news that there's a longer version of it didn't come out until after it didn't matter. So next week, though, we'll be talking about CES, buddy. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, where consumers can't buy anything there because it's all very fucking expensive. Lots of TVs, probably, lots of phones. Definitely AMD. I did see a tweet that AMD announced their 64-core monster. What are you going to do with all them cores? All them cores inside that case. I'm going to render all that shit. Anyways, wow. Thank you all for listening to my crazy podcast. I don't even know what to do with this thing anymore. I'm going to keep doing it. It's fun. It's fun to do. I just ramble. It helps me talk more and gets me, like, believe it or not, it's hard talking. Like, I used to be a huge introvert and I never talked. And now here I am streaming and doing a podcast, trying to talk constantly, trying to keep my thoughts straight and going and moving forward and advancing and hopefully bringing interesting ideas or interesting anything. Get people thinking about shit, whether it's Stadia or doesn't matter. What am I doing? Thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends and family. Okay, I'll be honest here. I actually went in to do like a study on my voice, and it was scientifically proven that it is ribbed for inner ear pleasure. So give this podcast to your mother. Oh, no. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. You can catch me live right now at twitch.tv/deadlynuttabutter. We stream in Destiny 2, The Witcher 3. It's good times. So yeah, come check me out. Come say hi. I'd really appreciate it. And I love you. Bye-bye.